Hi guys, Leo at Supersport Shed. Now, a couple of weeks ago we did a cams out video on the CBX1000 on the Z model, and lots of people have asked for cams in, putting cams in. Didn't do it on that engine, don't know why I didn't do it, it would have made sense to film it on the same engine, but this is another one, so we're going to put the cams in. Just a few things that I would do when doing it. Obviously, it sounds stupid, but make sure you put your buckets in, your shim buckets. Now, I've seen people not do it, and when I'm not concentrating or I'm talking to James or I'm talking to someone else, I have gone and put cams in and gone, oh God, I haven't put the buckets in. So you want to make sure you've done that. You want to make sure your cams are in good form, do your measurements, you know, things like that. I also set up all of my cam journal caps facing the right way, and so they're ready to go. They're all cleaned. You also want to make sure that all these little holes here, these are all your oil ways, are all clear. There's been quite a few times where I found, sadly, media shoved in those. I also separate my bolts out. Some of you will know, some of you may not, that there are 4 longer bolts compared to the standard. So there's a longer bolt and there's a standard bolt. There is a difference, and these hold on this oil channel here. So by just getting everything organised and ready, it just makes it a lot smoother. Now, one of the other things you guys need to really watch is placement of cams. Now, we see lots of cams that are like that. I'm going to go like that. Like this. Now those are opposite, and that's correct. Stop.
Try again.
No, because I can't remember if it's fucking wrong now.
Oh God, it's always the way, isn't it?
Inlet. That's what it's meant to be like. So one thing you also need to check, and we do see it occasionally in engines, and I know a couple of other people have done it, is that your cam lobes, when you're putting your cams in, have got to face each other. If they're opposite, like that, all you're going to be doing is opening all the valves up at the same time. As this turns around, it's going to open the exhaust valves. As this one turns around, it's going to be opening up the inlet valves. So your cams need to be opposite like that. Again, it's something really simple. And again, if you've got people in your workshop or your partner comes in and offers you a cup of tea, it's so easy to put them in wrong. So we're going to start with the cam chain sprocket. Now again, another silly little thing, make sure you put your B chain on, because you can't put it on once you put it in. Now this has 2 dots here, and that has to line up level with the faces of the head. Now it lines up level face with the faces of the head when your crank is on the timing mark, T for timing. So you can see there it's on T for timing. I hope. I'm just going to move James out the way so I can just check. Yeah, it's on T for timing. I'm just going to knock it down just a tiny bit. So it's on T for timing, and then if you look there, those dots need to be fairly level. And it's not going to be the clearest thing on the video, I don't think.
That's right, I'll stick some arrows on it.
And yeah, I think that's probably about right. I'm just going to move it around one just to check, and it's always worth, you know, it's a minute to take it off, do it again, and there you go. You can see that I've just actually moved it, and now it's out. And again, if I move it massively round, you can see how it isn't meant to be. Yeah, that's completely out. So I'm going to put it back right. Check.
So have you ever come across any engines that you've taken apart and that's been completely wrong so far?
No, I don't think I've ever had this wrong. We've definitely seen cams in we've definitely seen cams in wrong. We've never seen this sprocket in wrong. Not that I can think of, but sometimes we take them apart so quickly.
You don't even look.
There's no way you can really get it in wrong. Actually, it's this side that's easy to get wrong. So once you've got that and you're level with it and you're happy, you know, people get straight edges, but it's on a chain. It's very hard really to get it that much out. Now, if you're building a real performance engine, you can slot your cams and get it all right and degree them in, but on a standard everyday engine, you'll be fine. So then starting with your number 2 exhaust cam, I just stick a bit of grease on the journals. Some people use different things. Some people will say I'm using the wrong grease, but this is what Kerry's advised. This is what Kerry got advised by Chris in South Africa, and it just works really well. So you need to make sure that number 6 piston, which is on the left of your engine if you're looking at it from the front, your cam lobes are facing in. We're going to do the same on the inlet valve, cam facing in, and then when we do this side, these are turned around and the cams are facing in. So there, it's looking, and in theory, these lines, this should be level with the cases. Again, so this engine's also had, just to let you guys know, brand new chains, and it's also had a brand new A tensioner. And actually something I've completely forgotten, because I do it without talking, I do it without thinking, you know, we rebuild. I probably do this once a week, sometimes more. You need to make sure your tensioners are pushed back in under tension so they're not stopping the chains from working. Right, so you've got your cam in, you're happy with it. You want to get your cam bolt, which is a 10mm bolt. 10mm spanner, bolt even, and just screw it in a little bit. Now, don't drop it in the engine. I've done it once, you're only going to do it once. Sometimes you're lucky and it lands on top of one of the channels and you can just get down with a magnet. 99% of the time you won't be lucky. And you just want to nip it up a little bit. You don't want to do it tight, you just want to nip it up because we want a bit of movement. So now you've done that, we're going to get cam journals 6, 7 and 8. Now number 6 is your tacho drive one. I know some people who excuse me.
That's what working on CBXs does to you.
Yeah, it's winter in Dorset and I live with lots of kids. They change, they don't put the number 6 in because they're worried they're breaking it. I mean, you have to do something to break it. So again, just a little bit of grease. And you will notice these cams are a little bit rough, but they'll be fine for what the client wants. And then you're going to get some bolts. And we're going to bolt this in. And with your nut runner, again, nice crisp. I get them a little bit tight. I'm actually just going to take this one back off because I don't like how that bolt has gone in that hole. So I wasn't happy with this bolt hole, as you'll see. I have just cleaned it out and there's just a bit of rubbish in it. So anyway, put these in, spin them up. The torque setting is 9 to 10 foot-pounds, which is 12.5 to 13.5 Newton meters. And I actually set mine at 13. You know, it's nice and in the middle. And again, I torque and I check, and then I torque everything up at the end as well. And another thing, and I know it sounds absolutely insane, and I've told James this, and I've already checked my torque wrench today because I've used it, and I checked it before we started this video. Make sure your torque wrench works. I've seen torque wrenches and I've used them in the past where you're hanging off the end of it and it doesn't torque. Stick it in the vise and just make sure it goes dink dink at that rate. Anyway, right, so we've done this. It's in. So what we're going to do, we're going to rotate the crank until the other sprocket bolt is showing. Hold your chain up so it doesn't get caught. And we are there. And then I'm going to get my other sprocket bolt And I'm going to put it in, and you'll see why I've left it a bit loose. It just gives you a bit of room, a bit of wiggle room to move it in. And then do it up. Now, these also have a torque setting, and I'm going to tell you what it is because I can't remember it. And it is 10 to 12 foot-pounds, which will be about 14 or 15 Newton meters. Now, I've tried to put torque benches on these before, and it's not always doable. Depending on what you've got on, it's always hard. Normally, again, you're scratching all the cam, it's just not the way we like to do it. Just do it a bit FT with my T-bar. Then I turn it back round again. And as I turn it back round, I don't use my T-mark on my crank. I use the dots on my cam sprocket. It's bang on, so my T's on there, my 2 dots are there. Again, it's really hard to see. It's not going to be massively clear on the video. It's pretty hard to work it out. You've got all these bolts everywhere, but you get the gist. And again, there might be some old school guys and some other guys who've been doing this for years who are going to come and say, oh, this is how we do it. It's a great way of doing it. And I'll go, yeah, sounds great. We should have done it like that. Or you learn things. You never stop learning. You guys know that. We know it. And again, I'm just going to turn it around one more time just to make sure it all goes round and get my cams back. So number 6 is facing in. Just make sure it goes all the way around, which it does. Now, inlet number 2, left cam. Basically the same. It's got some little indents on the cog. Now in the manual, it tells you to take that cog off. I don't really see why you would take that cog off unless you were changing your cams. But again, it's got these 2 little dots. So just like the first one, we want to get your chain in with your cam loads facing in. And you can see, if you come around this way, James, you'll see how out I've put it. And that's really extreme, but anyone who's doing this will work out that that's gonna be out. So you just wanna turn it around until it's in. Time. And I would say potentially that is slightly out. And now that's really out. So we're gonna go back. And if you come and stand there, that is pretty much bang on. So I always do this, make sure that we're getting roughly there, and then I take it back out. Now it sounds really bonkers, but I want to make sure that my front one's pretty much there. And then you need to loosen off your A tensioner. Just down there. Make sure it's tensioned out. Again, this has got a new blade in it, so it's nice and stiff. The other one wasn't too bad, but it did have cracks, and while we're in here, it makes sense to change it and tighten it up. And again, you can adjust your A tensioner. This is how you adjust it in the bike, but it's a bit of a bugger. It's under the cars. I've got big hands, it doesn't work. Right, so now I'm back, I'm happy. I'm gonna chuck this back in. Like so. Get my cam caps, 14 through to 15, and everything's clean because I've cleaned it all. There's nothing worse than doing this with dirty cam caps or having to clean them as you go along. And again, in the manual it says don't put number 13 in because you're meant to do that up, but it's already done up, so we're also going to stick number 13 in as well. And this is your main one. This is the one that sends oil. So for you guys that might be interested or don't know, oil comes up through this pipe here from the oil galleries. It's pumped up, comes into here, and then there's a drilling here. And it comes out of this hole next to this cam cap and just goes in that little hole and then comes out through there. And then that's how your cams get oiled. That's how oil, along with some other ways, but that's one of the main ways oil comes up into your cylinder head.
Is it probably worth noting, because obviously a lot of these cam caps, I'll show you back over here, a lot of these cam caps look very similar, all the same. Is it worth noting that obviously there is a specific order of where they go?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sorry, James is quite right. I've jumped over that. Every single cam cap apart from number 6 has a very clear number on it. James can show you on here, or you can see them on the engine. They've all got a number. So this is number 16. That's number 8. No,
upside down.
That's number 16. That's number 8. They've also got an arrow, and that is because of the oil ways. So I've seen homemade cam cap cups tops because they've been threaded or they've been broken, and you obviously can't see which way they're meant to go. You can't see which number they are, so you've got to be really careful where you put them, because a wrong cam cap will wreck cams. These are line board, these cams, the cam journals, they are for each one. Again, torque wrench, 13 Newton meters, 9 to 10 foot-pounds, depending on what you work on. Crisscross pattern.
Why the crisscross pattern?
So it puts it down nice and level. It goes down, it spreads the tightness. There's going to be a technical term, but I have no idea what it is. Someone can tell me. If I did all one end, it could bend the cam. It's the same, you do the same on a cylinder head, you do the same on the engine cases. Tightening is always inside out, loosening is always outside in. It stops stuff getting warped. So once that's all torqued down, I just quickly check everything again. Click, click. Click, click.
Was it the same as just twice
click.
cut once?
Exactly. Then we've also got our B tensioner tight tension. So we're going to quickly loosen our B tensioner tension bolt, and you might have heard it pop, but you might not have done. And then we're going to tighten that up because that's gone. And as you guys know, there's a 10mm bolt with a most likely 14mm locking nut and an O-ring as well. You can tighten these up super tight, but it just pushes against the shaft, and it's actually the locking nut that holds it in place. Again, we have new ones of those on the shelf. We've had them remanufactured, and we also sell the O-rings. And also you've got the cam chain tensioner plug here, so in there's the shaft. These, if you've got oil leaks, it's either going to be this or that O-ring, and we've got all of these on the shelf if you want them. Either go onto the website or drop us an email, give us a call. We're always happy to help. We've got our left side in. If you're looking at it, your right side, it's all perspective. So again, you just want to make sure everything turns around, and it all does. Again, you can do this with or without your spark plugs in. I haven't got spark plugs in. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It's bloody hard with spark plugs in. So you now need to set up timing again on your crank. On the T mark, not the F mark, with number 6 cams facing out. Because we're going to put our intake and exhaust cams in on this side with them facing in. So your number 1 and number 6 cams are always opposite. Otherwise you end up with a big 3-cylinder.
Just in case anyone's confused, obviously the engine is sort of sat on the bench as it is now. When we're talking about, from 1 to 6, it's because if the engine was in the bike, it would be looking that way from left to right. It'd be 1 to 6. So in case Leo's talking about doing number 6, but filming from the front, it looks like number 1. Engine orientation is a very, very confusing thing. It took me a while to get my head around it.
Yeah, so James is right. Number 1 is your left-hand side. It's down by your left knee. It's alternator side, if that's an easier way to work out. It's drive side. Number 6 is clutch side. Again, yeah, it's just one of those things. So we discussed this last time, Oldham couplers. Stick them in just before you need them, because they will damage your cam journals on number 4. So the Oldham couplers go in. Now, if you put these in, and the one that isn't touching in the cam journal is that way round, you've got it wrong. These need to be vertical, facing up into the sky, down to the bottom. Nice sort of simple way to do it. Now, intake and exhaust cams on the left-hand side are pretty much, they are different, but if you pick them up and you're not looking, they are the same. Now, I've just picked up what I thought was the exhaust cam without looking, and it's actually an intake cam. Again, so we want to make sure that the lobes on number 1 are facing in. which they are, and we've greased all these up, and the lobes are facing in again. Now, I've done this on purpose to set it up wrong to see if you catch up. There is no way you're going to be able to do that, because this number 3 here is going to need to be pushed down. Now, I never understand how people can do it. It's just bonkers. I don't get it. It's on the knock. So yeah, you can see that that's not right. The Oldham couplers come to join me, and cam's in nice and happy. Now, while we're here, I'm just going to quickly chat about Oldham couplers. Now, we've just rebuilt a bike that's had oversized Oldham couplers in it, and the clients come and said, "Oh, it sounds a bit noisy." That's a good thing. The oversized Oldham couplers do stop the cam rattle, the shimmy, the tick, 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 tick sound. But CBXs are meant to be tick, tick. There's meant to be some cam sound. If Honda wanted these cams to not move, they would have made them not move. It's not where they're like it. We've done the measurements. Oversized Oldham couplers tend to mask a problem. And again, we've seen it in engines where oversized have been put in and actually the cam journals are worn, or cams are bent, something silly like that. So just be careful that they may mask a tapping sound, but there might be another problem. Just a quick one on oversized Oldham couplers. You never know what you're going to find. So again, cam journals on. Now we can put all of our journal caps, our cam caps. They're not journals, are they? Our cam caps on. Again, I've got number 10, I've got number 9, 11, and 12. And I'm going to get the others as well, which is 1 through to 4. And we're also going to put number 5 in, which we left out last time, because we've now tightened our cam sprocket. And as you can see, if you've watched our previous video of taking them out, I'm literally just doing everything backwards. It's that easy. It is just backwards. Then we're going to get our nuts, our bolts, put them in. And again, all these have been cleaned, degreased. There was a great comment and query about torque settings and oil on the bolts, and the guy was struggling to get the torque setting he needed. Now again, like I said, these are 13 Newton meters. It's not a lot. It's not a lot at all. There might have been another problem, but make sure everything's clean. Oil does change torque setting. Oil setup and your cover. So your cover goes over like that, and this goes like that. Now you'll notice I've put that bolt in. Now I put that in to hold it down. So I'll quickly take it out. So oil channel tube goes in. It's got a technical name, and this is how oil gets around, because it comes up, like I said, number 13 through this hole. It's going to come up through here, go along there, and then it's also going to go down these rails into number 12 and go along there, into number 4 and into number 5. So these have longer bolts because they're obviously higher. As you can see, I put the wrong bolt in that because I wasn't watching. So the short bolts go in there. Now the 2 bolts that go on here have washers. Well, they have washers because these 2 bolts on this side, if I swap with James, you'll see obviously have this cover, and there's obviously a difference in thickness. So Honda obviously decided to put 2 bolts in it. So those live in there, and then the 2 long bolts without washers go in there. 1, 2, and that should leave you with 2 normal bolts, 1 for there, 1 for there, and then a little bolt for this guard. Now again, this is another one. It's pretty easy to drop this in the engine. I've never done this one, done the other one. So don't jinx it yet. And that's in enough. And then again, we're just going to quickly spin all these up. Right, so we didn't film me tightening up another load of cam bolts, but again, everything's together. I have checked it turns over. I'm going to show you again, but I'm just going to quickly torque everything again. Never torque too many times, because you never know when you've missed one, especially when you're doing, oh, it's 16 times 2, 32 bolts. You're never going to know which one you forget. And actually I can see when I've missed out, because I always miss it, and I know I always do it, and I do it last. I've missed out the guide, but it's very easy to miss out a bolt when you're doing something like this, especially when they all look the same. Now, some of you might notice this engine is a little bit grubby. It came in, it wasn't running very well. There's a carb issue and for shims. And when I took out the oil spray bar, when I was just checking the alternator, just something we check because you never know, it was a bit rattly, and the primary chain was completely shot. So we've literally just taken it apart, put it back together. But yeah, so everything's torqued up. I'm just going to make sure it goes around and there's no banging. And there we go. You know, do a couple of revolutions. Pop, 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 bang, pop, bang, pop, bang, pop, bang, pop as it goes round. Lovely jubbly. So I'm going to get eye number 1 ready for shim. So I'm going to shim this engine up. I'm going to shim it up, and then obviously the other thing is we're going to put the oil catch plastic things in. Can't remember what they're called, to stop the oil. And again, I'm going to put a bit of grease on my cam lobes. James is going to get me one now. So it's these. Again, if you don't know, these go in like that to fashion, and then they hold the oil in, so there's always oil in the cams. And then we quickly put a dab of grease on everything, give it a nice oil, fill it up, and then cam cap on, and happy days. Thanks for watching.